Hello, this is Jer. I'm playing Oxygen Not Included, and today I've got a project for handling the heat that comes from the Metal Refinery and the Polymer press. I'm going to need to generate about 20 units of steel. I already have 800 kilograms of plastic. That steel is going to produce heat, but I do have a cold zone above me, and after the steel is produced, I'll never produce it in a way that releases so much heat in my world. So I want to put this system to the right of the kitchen and grate hall. And you'll see in this next episode why I'm doing that. So in order to know where it goes, I need to measure the ultimate size I want my grate hall to be, which is 23 tiles for my case. You may want to have something different. I just had a steam turbine put in at the top of this system. And that's what's going to reduce all the heat to be able to make this work. I didn't put that in a random location. I specifically put it just above 5 tiles of abyssalite. If you're not able to do that in your build, use insulated tiles made of ceramic. So underneath this thing, I'm going to want to create a large vacuum. Unfortunately, I've got a small little tunnel here that needs to be filled in. So by piece, I'm having dupes create, and this is a little bit of a painful process, so I've got a little bit of a trick here. If you put a door and you trap them in, instead of having one dupe go in and then wait for another dupe, that same dupe will keep building. Now they have to have local materials within that zone, and also if you're going to do this, don't forget, we'll let them out to use the washroom and eat. So anyways, so now I'm starting the process of creating the vacuum. So I got an Atmo suit in there. The reason I want that is I don't want them producing carbon dioxide in my vacuum, ruining my vacuum. The other thing is, once they have the suit, I need them to get through an area. So this is going to be similar to what we've seen in the stairwells going down with a little piece of liquid. This time I'm going to have a small stairwell going down and then one back up. I'm going to fill that with water. So I'm researching a aqua tuner. And this isn't actually needed in this project, but it's just one of those things. If I build it now, it's going to be a lot easier than if I try to install it later. Once I've got enough liquid, I'm going to build a tile and destroy a tile to create a vacuum. As you're doing this, just be careful not to accidentally dig out bleach stone or slime, because that's going to ruin your vacuum. I just decided to bring on my 8th dupe called Artist. Can you imagine what their interest is? The area you want to turn into a vacuum is really selected here, so just below the steam turbine. So I'm going to clear that out, and the first thing I'm going to put in is a liquid vent. And then after that, I realized I'm going to want to make some pipe and other material out of ceramic. So let's go create that. Creating ceramic can be a very labor-intensive job if you're not careful. So what I'm doing is I'm setting the CLIN to be low priority, in this case 4. Putting a bin of coal, a bin of clay, the inputs to ceramic, and an automation. So that essentially makes it so that the dupes aren't the one having to go back and forth to put material in here. Okay, so polypress has been created. I also want automation. So this is going to produce plastic. It's going to be in a zone that the dupes will not be able to reach. Therefore, I will want to make sure I've got automation to pull stuff out. All the machinery in this zone need to be made of steel. That's because it's going to get very hot in here. I'm having my dupes extend the vacuum a little bit further to the left over here. I'm having the aqua tuner constructed. That's also made out of steel. I'm putting insulated tiles made of ceramic underneath it. So wherever you have pipes go in and out of something, including the polypress, make that tile made out of insulated ceramic. So I'm having that put in there. That's going to be used later on. I'm going to power up this area because our dupes, once I close this off, our dupes aren't going to be able to have access to it. And then the next thing I'm going to do is create my new metal refinery. So this is going to be my ultimate metal refinery that I won't have to move in the future, that can handle heat. I'm adding insulated pipes made of ceramic to go in and out of the metal refinery. I'm now building a liquid reservoir. It's got to be made out of steel. I'm going to put about half a tank's worth of petroleum in there. The output is going to start off and snake around the hot zone. That's going to be made out of radiant pipes, with lead in this case. That's going to make it pass just underneath the metal refinery. I'm going to use liquid bridges to make a priority input to that. So this system is going to go into that by default if it can, otherwise it's going to continue on. And then it's going to yield to any petroleum that goes out of the machinery. And then ultimately that's going to go back into the liquid reservoir. So I've got a full cycle going round and round, and when it can, it's going to put liquid into the metal refinery, and when liquid goes out of the metal refinery, that gets the priority. So that's how this system works. Going over to the other world just to grab some oil, get an oil refinery together, and just put a half tank worth of petroleum in that thing. So here's the trick if you want to install a power tile without killing your vacuum. Put in 3 tiles like I've just done there, and then destroy the 2 middle ones that I'm showing, and then you're able to put in your power tile. Once I have that area underneath the steam turbine sealed off, I'm going to have to put some water in there. Not too much, about 50 to 100 kilograms. You don't want to flood the poly press. And I'm going to do the same thing on the steam turbine, and I'll explain that part in a future episode. Don't forget to connect the gas pipe out of the polymer press to release carbon dioxide. Now I'm just connecting power to the whole system and just putting the final touches to the metal refinery. So first, a little bit of water has gotten underneath the steam turbine, which is excellent. That area is sealed off. I also have automation to be able to turn it off myself, so I can measure exactly somewhere between 50 and 100 kilograms of water. Almost forgot the conveyor track going out. That would have been annoying to forget. Alright, let's just have a look here. Liquid's going to go in. Notice that liquid stopped going this direction. That's what we wanted. We want this to have the priority. So the petroleum will go into the machine if it can, and it's going to start emptying here, which is excellent. And that's going to get priority on the way out. So just to have a quick note, 48 degrees is going in, 130 is going out. Extremely hot. So that's ultimately going to turn this water here, which is should be slowly increasing temperature into steam, and this machine will keep it at about 125 or so. Once we have petroleum sent into the polymer press, that will turn on as it is there, and it's going to start producing plastic, and any heat is going to go into that water, turn steam, and the steam turbine will keep it cool. Okay, so I've been running this system for a while now, producing steel, gold, iron, all the stuff. It has gotten up to 125 degrees, which means the steam turbine has enabled. It is now dumping 95 degree water back in the system, creating a cooling effect. I'm just going to make one comment that you can get runaway heat doing this, so it can keep going up above 125, higher and higher. But I know I'm not going to continually run the metal refinery indefinitely, so there's going to be cooling periods. So I typically will generate what I need in steel when I need it. Now, if you did want or just produce just a lot of material, one thing you could do, you could put in a temperature gauge at this point, make it out of steel, put in an automation out and connect it to that machinery. And then just have it set so that if it, say, gets higher than 200 degrees or whatever you're comfortable with, it disables that machine. Other than that, I'm going to say this is extremely successful. I'm able to generate metal and plastic without the excess amount of heat into my base. If you look at the temperature overlay, the reason that this temperature is kept in this is because I've got a vacuum right here and a vacuum right here, and this goes all the way around the hot zone, except for a little bit of abyssal that connects the hot zone with the steam turbine. So also realize that the steam turbine does take on a bit of heat. It's already gotten up to 35 degrees. The metal that comes out of this thing is also going to be really hot. So we're going to have to deal with the heat that comes from this. Minimum amount of heat compared to this, but still, that needs to be maintained. We're going to do that in a future episode called base cooling. But the next episode, we're going to plug this thing in, a thermo aqua tuner, and that is going to make an infinite storage of food that can last forever. That's in the next episode. I hope to see you there.